Okay, now we're ready to start Chapter 2 in Excel. As you can see, I've already entered in all the information, so you'll need to go ahead and do that. Chapter 2 is going to be formulas, functions, and formatting. So I entered in the information that's at the beginning of the chapter. So all this information starts on EX71, and I entered it in, and now I'm ready to start some formulas. So we're going to go to figure out gross pay. And on our gross pay, when you enter a formula, you always start with equal sign. So we equals. With gross pay, it's hours worked times hourly rate. So you have equals D4. And then you're going to do times E4. And hit enter. And that'll give you that person's gross pay for that time. Okay, the next formula we're going to do is to figure our federal tax. So we're going to hit equals 0.22 times parenthesis. We're going to do F4 minus C4 times 24.32, and then close the parentheses up. Our next one is going to be our state tax, and our state tax is going to be 0.04 times F4 and that's what happens when you forget your equal sign. So we're going to just start over. Equals 0.04 times F4. And then your net pay, always start with your equal sign, equals F4 minus parenthesis G4 plus H4. And that gives you your net pay. Now your tax is going to be equals parenthesis G4 plus H4 parenthesis divided by F4 and enter. So that gives you your tax percentage. Now after this, you can just copy or do a handle fill. So you highlight all of them, you go down here, you reach for your little box, and then you copy it all the way down. So it copies all the numbers for you. Alright, next we're going to do our totals. So you come down to your totals under gross pay. You highlight cell F13. You go back up and you do the auto sum. You make sure it covers everything you want to add, and you hit enter. Then you copy, you do your fill handle. So you get your mouse down in that little box and you drag it across, not to the tax, just to the net pay, and you release, and it fills those automatically. Now for the tax amount, you go up to cell J12 and then you do the handle fill and pull it down, and that will automatically be filled for you. Next, we're going to do our average. So we want to average what our average hours worked. So you can highlight D14, you go up to your auto sum button, you hit the little arrow, and you see the average. You make sure what you want to average is in there. And we don't want the total, so we just want to average D4 through D12 and hit enter. So that gives us that average. Now for the highest, we can do the same thing. We highlight, or we're in our box D15, we go up to auto sum, click on the little arrow next to it, so the highest would be maximum. You click on that, you make sure your cell range is D4 through D12 and hit enter. And one more time, we're going to do the minimum or the lowest. So that's the minimum. Highlight your range and hit enter. And then you have all of your averages and your highest and your lowest. Okay, here again, you grab a hold of your fill handle after you have all three of those highlighted. You just drag it across and you release, and it automatically fills it for you. So that's how you do functions. Next, we're going to verify a formula using RangeFinder. Okay, with the RangeFinder, you just go to any of your cells. The example in the book is J4, so I'm on J4. I'm going to double click, and it automatically brings up our range of cells that are involved with that formula. So as you can see, it's G4 in the blue, H4 in the green, and then F4 in the purple. So that's just to verify that your formula is correct. Now, let's begin formatting the worksheet. Okay, to change the workbook theme, we go up to the page layout tab, and we click on themes. And the theme in the book is Trek. So if we want to use Trek, we go down to find Trek. There it is. And then we left click on that. In the meantime, we're going to center and merge our title. So it's back on home, merge and center. And our subtitle, that's all set. Next, we're going to add color to this. So you go up to your title. The range is already selected for us. And then click the fill color button, which is right here. And then you can pick any color you want. I'm going to pick that one. And then you do the same thing again. Only the color, as you can tell, is already automatically up. So you just press on that again, and it automatically fills it for you. Okay, as you can tell, I've already formatted this spreadsheet. Everything we learned in chapter 1. So I went into cell styles, and I formatted these after I merged and centered, and along with the row 3, I also did the same thing. Now we're going to do our number formatting. So you're going to highlight B4 through B12, and then we're going to go up, and it is a date, and we're going to do a short date. Actually, we're going to try something new. We're going to hit our little arrow button, and it brings up the date. As you can tell, it gives us lots more options. Well, the book wants us to use this date, so we're going to click on that. So, actually it's this one. It's month, month, year, year, date, date. We're going to click on that and then hit OK. And it should look like that. Now, we're going to format these numbers. And again, you only want to do F, G, H, I in row 4. And you want those to be currency numbers. So you can either go up here, you can hit your number sign, or again, you can hit your general, and it will be a currency, so it does the same thing. Or you can hit your little arrow box down here, and it brings up a whole another box, and it does the exact same thing. So there's lots of different ways of doing things. I'm trying to show you the shortcut ways, just to save you time. The same thing goes for the formulas. There's different ways to do formulas. If you enter it the way I did, or you do the auto sum things, then that seems to be the quickest way. Alright, the rest of it, the book wanted to do, we're going to highlight the rest of the employees, and we're going to do those in the comma format. So that's all done. And then we're going to do percentages over here. So you highlight your tax column, and then you can hit your percentage button. And if you want to have percentages with decimal points, that's what these numbers right here are for. So you can have them go like this, or you can take them away. So let's see what the book has us do. The book is wanting us to have 2 decimal points. So you hit that twice and it shows up just like that. Okay, now we're going to do some conditional formatting. So I've highlighted the range from D4 to D12. We're going to go up here and click on conditional formatting. We're going to do a new rule, and then the book wants us to do format only cells that contain, and then we're going to do greater than, and then we're going to type in 70. And then we're going to change the edit the rule description area. And then we're going to click see our cell value greater than 70, and then we're going to click on the format button, and we're going to do fill, and then we're going to pick this color right here, and then click the OK button. And then we're going to click OK. So everything that's over 70 will be automatically marked for us in case we want to do something with those numbers. So next we're going to adjust the column widths, and I've told some of you this in class, but if you highlight different columns, you take your mouse over to where you have the arrow mouse, and you double click, it will automatically adjust those columns to be certain widths. You can do more than one column at a time, like so, or you can just do one column at a time, and then that way it gives you your different widths that you need. So if you're following along in the book, I'm now all the way to page EX112. So now we're going to check our spelling in case we have some spelling errors. So you can make an error in your spreadsheet if you want to check this out, if you want to do it, and then you click on the spelling button, to do the spelling you go to review, and there's a spell check right here that you can run, and this one brought up the last name of someone. If you need to change it, it gives you suggestions or whatever. So this one we're going to ignore, lots of names we're going to ignore. So then it tells us we'd like to continue checking, yes, and then it's all checked, just like we did in Microsoft Word. So again, some things are different in the book. I just showed you some shortcuts to take. So if you want to learn different ways of doing things, you can check that out in the book. But as for that, the last thing to do is the page layout and that type of thing. You are able to adjust the column widths as well on the side, just like you do, the row widths, just like you do the column widths. So that's an option as well. As for printing, you can do a print preview. I don't think it works in some of your cases because we don't really allow you to print, but you just do File, Print, and then I'll bring it up. If it doesn't fit, there's options that you can turn the page to landscape, and then it usually fits on a spreadsheet. So anyway, that's all for chapter 2. Good luck, and next you'll start your labs.